Welcome to another video. This time I'm going to show you how I got rid of haze in some photos when I was out in the Grand Tetons in August of 2021. There were a lot of fires from California and other states that were floating into the valley there, and it was really difficult. A lot of the time we were there maybe a week, and the haze was almost constant throughout the entire week. So you either had to get up very early in the morning or hope there was a rain shower that would clear some of it out. It was very limited as to the times of clear weather there. So I had to figure out a way to get some images and kind of save the trip. So I decided to try this method, and that is to convert these hazy images into black and white. Some may say high contrast black and white, but black and white. So when you do your adjustments here in Adobe Camera Raw, that's the program I'm using to start out with, you have to think in terms of black and white and not color. In order to get those black skies, you need a blue sky. You need a lot of blue and a lot of cyan so that you can lower them and get rid of it. You'll see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. You want to cool it down a little bit, start out. You want to overdo it, but you want to cool it down. Raise your purple maybe a little bit. Check your exposure. Add some contrast. Right now I'm just working on the mountains. We're going to worry about the trees in a minute or two. Bring our shadows up a little bit here. Add a little bit of texture, some clarity, and of course we want to dehaze it. But you don't want to do too much. Now we're going to add a mask, linear gradient mask, to open up these trees a little bit. Up the shadows, open up our exposure. Now I shot this with a Nikon Z7 II, or as they say in Europe, Z7, but a Z7 II with a 24-200 Nikon S lens, which is a very good lens. The 24-120 wasn't out at the time when I took this trip, otherwise I probably would have shot it with that. But you can't go wrong with the 24-200 either. It's a good little lens. There's our first mask, and I'm going to add another one, this time with a brush. Bring that out a little bit, and maybe this just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to increase our exposure just a little bit, our shadows. Now I'm going to put it into Photoshop. I could do more here in ACR, Adobe Camera Raw, but I'm going to open it up in Photoshop and convert it to black and white in Photoshop. The first thing I want to do, image adjustments, convert it to black and white. And this is where I said you darken those blues, darken your cyans. And the other thing would be to increase your greens, your yellow, your red in your black and white. And that goes a long way, as you can see, to fixing your haze problem. Now you could totally bring your blue down if you wanted to. So you have the option of either doing that or dodging and burning. The other thing, I don't know if you know or not, if you put your mouse or pointer over top of an area that you want to adjust one way or another, it'll tell you whether it's, look over on the right hand side of the screen, it'll tell you whether you're in your blues or where you're at, which is kind of a handy thing to know. Now you want to take your midtones and dodge it. Bring out this curve. Now this particular image, some of you will probably recognize, it's the Snake River, and this is the same, essentially the same spot Ansel Adams stood when he was taking his shot. In fact, there's a little plaque right there that tells you this was the spot. I don't know how accurate it is, but it looks pretty darn close. The reason why, if you go and you actually look at Ansel's, why it doesn't look the same is because Mother Nature has taken its course, and over time all these trees down in here have grown in. So the river actually bends. You can't, it's hard to tell, but there is a little separation in the trees there. The river actually bends around this way, which is the way it was when Ansel took his famous image. You just go through and dodge and burn, and the one area that I like to work on, I did when I first did this, would be this area here to get some white on the tip of this tree line here. So I typically go over it several times rather than boosting it up to 70-80% and just doing it once. Same with here. Maybe a little bit in here. Now it's just personal preference as to how much contrast you really want in those clouds and in the trees. Now the last thing that I've done on several of my black and whites, but in particular on these, that helps get rid of the haze even a little bit more, is go to your adjustments and add a gradient map. In the newer versions of Photoshop, they have, I think it was under the photography, or not photography, yeah, under the photography thing. Just search out the thing that says platinum. And I like to add a little platinum gradient map to my black and whites. It really makes them pop even more. Now you can play with the opacity. Here's 0. There's 100%. So you can see the look that it gives. I've actually made platinum prints with a medium and a large format cameras on film over the years. So I kind of favor platinum prints, which is why I give my images a little touch of platinum. The other thing that goes without saying, but I'll say it, what I tend to do all along, I've mentioned in a couple of my other videos, after each step I go and I save the file, and then I save it with another name. So let's say this one would have been Mountain A, then Mountain B, Mountain C, Mountain D, until I really get it to where I'm very happy with it. And then I save the very last one, Mountain Final, or whatever you want to call it, Snake River Final, so that I can always go back if I screwed something up. Then after you have your effect, you can then go in again, dodge and burn a little bit. And that's essentially it. You know, within 10 minutes or so, you can get yourself a pretty good looking image. Just by converting it to black and white. So if that helped any of you, I'm happy. Thanks to Ansel for the inspiration to go to this spot and take this photo. Thanks to my wife for putting up with me to go to these places. And for Mother Nature to create them. All right, until next time, take care of yourselves. Good luck taking some good photos, and I'll see you soon. Take care.